Another episode of the Plant Based Morning Show. The Friday, November 18th, the day before the weekend before Thanksgiving week. So for that reason, and actually also mainly for personal reasons, that I have my little Thanksgiving dinner tonight. We're doing the Thanksgiving episode today, which should be fun. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I've been saving articles to talk about on Thanksgiving, and our house is smelling very Thanksgiving-like because my wonderful wife Erin has been preparing a lot of good foods. There's Doug; he's dancing again. No disappearing trick this time.
No, I have one. I have a secret one planned though. I just didn't have an
Oh yeah.
opportunity to get it all set up today.
That would be cool if you kind of always, if it became a thing that you just always had some sort of wacky entrance. Like you
I
ever,
think
that show, that ESPN show, it had Woody Page on it. There was the four guys around the corner. Sometimes a woman as well, or two. It
yeah.
was like sports reporters, and he would always have a chalkboard behind him that would have some dumb saying written on it that would like just me. It would kind of be funny, make you chuckle, but often you wouldn't understand what it meant. So you
Yeah.
need to have something like that.
Okay. Well, I think we can make that. I think we can figure that out.
You think so?
Happy
All right.
happy Friday before the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very festive to me, and that's obviously because our situation is my situation. I'm leaving tomorrow for Germany, so we're doing Thanksgiving dinner tonight. Yesterday, Erin made some stuff, so I had a muffin this morning, a cranberry orange muffin, which she often makes those kind of things. So it feels like it's like almost Thanksgiving Day to me, and then
All
heading into a
right.
weekend and the travel. So I'm in a slightly different place from everyone else, I'm sure. Got a nice haircut this morning, Doug, as you will notice.
Looks good. It looks
Thank
good.
you.
I almost called it out.
Yeah, I went to Sport Clips bright and early. Was their first person there in line.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm digging the Sport Clips recently. They've given me a consistent cut 2 times in a row, and my son as well. Expensive though. That's $24 for a haircut there, which you can go to a salon and get that. Even the kids' haircut is that price.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So we're talking Thanksgiving stuff today. Dr. Joe Kahn, I believe, is going to join us for a little bit. We'll get his take on some healthy Thanksgiving options, and see how he goes about spreading the message at Thanksgiving. Whether you use the opportunity to spread the message or do like I do and don't say a word about it and pretend, hope nobody notices. That's my strategy on Thanksgiving. So anyway, some interesting stuff that's going on. Oatly also doing a funny kind of bit related to that. So we'll get into those things. Anything, Doug, to talk about before we jump off here?
Oh man, I don't think so.
No,
I have a fun weekend. I have a fun weekend planned
yeah?
of what do you call it? Overconsumption, probably.
Okay. Well, that's
and
good.
yeah,
what are you
my
consuming?
one of my buddy Kareem, who you've met,
I
has
know
come to
Kareem.
town.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him for several years, and he's coming to town
Voice
this
of the
weekend.
No Meat
And we're gonna.
Athlete intro. No Meat Athlete
That's
radio
right.
intro.
That's right. He is. He is on there. Oh yeah, that's right. Everyone probably knows him.
Yeah.
They just don't know that they know him. Well, he's coming to town. I haven't
Right.
seen him. I haven't seen him since before COVID hit, and we're excited for a fun weekend.
Best man in your wedding, right? I believe.
Best man at my wedding. Yep.
Right, good friend. So that's a good visit. That's a good weekend you've got ahead of you, I'm sure. Good. And you're gonna hit some breweries, I'm sure.
Hit some breweries, hit some restaurants, and do all the fun things you do.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really cold. It's like high in the 30s and low 40s this weekend. So
it is suddenly cold here too.
that
Will you
things,
involve the family in these Kareem activities, or will that just be at your house and then you guys will go off on your own?
I mean, I'm sure we'll be hanging out at the house some too and do some. Katie, we have a babysitter tomorrow night, so Katie can come out with us and join because they're friends too. So yeah, I don't know. It should be a really fun weekend, and I'm going to drag them along to a kid's birthday party. One of our good friends is having a superhero kid birthday party, so we're gonna drag him along to that.
Does he have kids?
No, he does not have kids.
I'll get a little taste of
parent life.
I'm sure, one birthday party would probably be fine, and you can probably be like, I can see myself doing this. Yeah. But it's just when they come one after another, and every weekend has it. Yeah, that's when it gets to be too much. All right, so you sent me I'll talk about my Thanksgiving meal in a little bit. You sent me an article this morning. I've been wanting to talk about World Cup because I am excited, just mainly because of my own personal interest in soccer is the highest it's been. The last World Cup was kind of the first one where I was actually truly a soccer fan because of my son and my daughter. I think she had started by then too. So that was kind of cool. But this year, now I've got 4 years of understanding things and rooting for teams and watching all different things. that now I'm like just over the moon excited for the on the field World Cup action.
Yeah.
The story you sent me, of course, is about Qatar. It's about alcohol. It's about them changing course last minute and saying no alcohol can be served in the stadiums as was planned to be. They are a Muslim country, and of course, alcohol not part of life for Muslims. And so I believe alcohol is just illegal in the country, but they were going to make exceptions for this, and I think they still are making some amount of exceptions. But anyway, the bigger story. This is just another thing that they've kind of that's making people talk about things other than soccer. Of course, a lot of human rights stuff. There was, as far as the FIFA and the World Cup goes, they had promised, I guess, that there'd be different stadiums built and things, and they've kind of really just not done what they would do. Yeah, and that's what I heard.
And then the bribery scandals with FIFA and everything. I mean, it's
and FIFA's got that. I mean, FIFA always has that stuff being talked about, and it just seems worse this year. Although, I mean, last World Cup was in Russia, so that's not that much better. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. But so it's. I talked to our European correspondent Steven this morning. Texted him a bit, and he said it's just a different mood this time. First of all, it's in the winter because it's too hot there to play in the summer. So they're interrupting the club season and the Champions League stuff, and this is just a weird time for soccer. Steven said the soccer level would probably be lower because it used to be in the summer, players would have a chance to recover a little bit and then do this. Now they're doing it. They squeezed in Champions League games earlier, so they've played even more than usual now because they were going to take this long break for the World Cup. So the level's going to be lower. Some players will be injured or at least tired. And he said it's just not feeling the vibe there at all. You're just not seeing the flags and banners and things. And people are rightfully upset. I mean, it's not a good situation over there at all in Qatar, at least the way the media is reporting it. So yeah, I don't know, but the beer thing is, we've been talking about non-alcoholic beer. What's interesting is that will now be what's served in the stadiums. And I guess some people are going to be outraged. I mean, certainly Budweiser, who was expecting to sell a bunch of beers, is upset. But yeah, I guess people who are going over there are also going to be upset. To me, well, go ahead, and then I'll give you.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. We don't need to dive into the human rights issues here, but it was kind of like I'm not all that surprised to get this news, and it's almost and the solution of serving Bud Zero in these breweries or in these stadiums is almost kind of funny. It's kind of laughable. Like who's really going to be excited about buying a Bud Zero in a stadium? If you're at a game and you want a beer, you're probably going to buy you want a real beer, not a bad non-alcoholic beer.
Here's what I was going to say was that I actually wasn't that surprised. I was surprised that it was going to be there at all because in my limited experience of attending soccer games in Europe, in Spain, there's been no alcohol sales. And I didn't realize that until I got in line to get a beer. And I had this hunch that maybe it would just be, I saw people drinking 0%, whatever, San Miguel or something. And I thought maybe that's the only beer they're serving, which was kind of surprising. But then I thought, makes sense. All the fighting and stuff that happens.
Is that for safety? Is that for crowd control?
I'm pretty sure it is. So Steven told me that Premier League games in England also don't serve alcohol. But not every country, not every league in Europe, has this rule. And so anyway, plenty of people still drink the beers in the soccer games. And of course, plenty of people drink the beers ahead of time. I think it just has mostly shifted the drinking to ahead of time, but that probably, by then everyone sobers up a little bit by the end. So it's less chance of an incident. I didn't see the exact specifications. It sounds like there is still going to be some beer in certain places. Is that
fan
right?
Zones or something? Yeah, it looks like, because so I guess currently, I don't know much about this except what I was reading this morning. Currently, there are some hotels and some other private event spaces in Qatar where alcohol is currently allowed outside of the World Cup. And so this is kind of expanding that in these fan zones, but they're outside of the public eye. And so the stadium was too public for that.
Right. So, yeah, but I don't know. You would imagine throngs of travelers from the United States who were expecting to get their Budweiser are now going to be very upset that they're not getting it. I have to imagine it's going to lead to incidents, people getting it, smuggling it, stuff. And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this is not the last we hear about the alcohol thing.
Oh, definitely not. And what do you think about? And I just imagine Budweiser waking up this morning and realizing that their $250 million sponsorship is kind of worthless right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that a country can just say certain things to get the World Cup and then change their mind. And in this case, 3 days before it begins, or 2 days before it begins.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So yeah,
but,
unfortunately.
all right. So what would you do, Matt? You're big on the non-alcoholic beers right now. Would you buy a Bud Zero at a soccer game right now if you were there, or would you?
100%, 100%.
Okay.
I'd buy the Bud Zero. Because I did it and it was fine in Spain. I mean, it's not the same, but when you're in that atmosphere and everything, to me, like even more so than at home, you forget that it doesn't have alcohol in it. It just tastes, it's just beer, and that's fine. And I'm not drinking. I guess at a stadium more than other places, I'm drinking to actually feel the effects of it. But again, you could do that ahead of time, and I've done that ahead of time when I did it in Spain. So I don't know. It'll be interesting though if everyone's now these fan zones are swamped with people where they weren't expecting it to be. I don't know. I could see a Woodstock '99 situation developing. Who knows? We will see.
The similarities might be very, very
maybe. Yeah. So it's unfortunate that a lot of this stuff is in many ways overshadowing not the beer, but the human rights stuff. It is really unfortunate, and I keep being conflicted, wanting to talk about World Cup here. And I'm noticing a lot of media outlets, not that we're really a media outlet, but I'm noticing these are dealing with the same thing. They're basically saying, yeah, we're going to keep covering it because people love the soccer and it's that time. But like, we also, or they're saying we got to still mention this stuff because it's some of what's going on is awful. The U.S. team, you probably saw this, Doug, that they changed their logo, or they're going to have a rainbow logo for some of the games where they've changed the red and white stripes to rainbow. Which is interesting. It's just weird. It's almost like a form of protest against. I think it's their way of saying.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, and so I don't like. I guess aside from the importance of that, I'm just talking about like what does that do to the World Cup experience? Like, should this kind of stuff, I guess it's just a shame that like this kind of stuff is center stage. I wish I could do this about soccer, right? It would be, right. And that's on FIFA, I guess, for choosing to go with Qatar as a host.
I mean, it is a shame that, right? I mean, the idealistic viewpoint of the Olympics, for example, is to remove all politics from the Olympics, and same with World Cup. But it's impossible to happen, especially when you're going to certain countries where, where certain human rights violations are taking place.
Yep. So we'll talk a little bit. I'm sure I won't be able to not talk about the soccer, and we should, because people have told me they like the sports talk that we do on this show. Mm-hmm. We usually try to center it a little bit around vegan players, but I guess with the World Series, we didn't do that. So I don't know. I'll be following the World Cup. They play U.S. team plays on Monday against Wales. They may get out of their group. They may not. But it's probably our best team in a long time. People seem to think that.
Oh, okay.
We've got a lot of players who play in European. I mean, half the roster plays in top European leagues. So we've got a good shot. And in our group, I feel like we could get out of. So it'll be exciting. Let's see how they do against Wales on Monday.
Other than the U.S., do you have a team you're going to be following?
I mean, I like Spain a lot just because we've been there and they're always good. Germany will be in Germany, so it'll be fun maybe to watch some Germany games and root for them. Argentina would be great to see them win because they have Lionel Messi, who's many believe is the best player to play, and without a lot of the stuff that Ronaldo, the other best player to ever play, in people's minds, without quite such the sensational sort of stuff and the celebrity aspect that Ronaldo has. He has embraced all that. Messi is quieter and certainly still has his share of celebrity stuff, but people really want to see him win just because of who he is. And I think people are rooting for that. And Argentina has a decent chance. I was looking at the odds. A bet on the U.S. would pay something like $150 for every $1 you bet on the U.S. if they were to win the whole thing. Whereas Argentina is something like 3-1 or something like that, right behind Brazil, who is the favorite. So it'll be fun. I'll be talking about it sometimes.
Are you putting any money down?
I have not yet. I don't have any good way of doing that. I don't want to bet illegally. I don't know how to do that here. But maybe in Germany, if I can find some outlets, probably can. We'll see.
All right, Thanksgiving, right?
So let's get to Thanksgiving. Yep. Dr. Khan's going to join us in a bit, and let's see, Doug. Where should we begin? I guess we can start with. Let's see. When Joel joins us, we'll shift to talking about food In the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about Oatly, because I know you found the Oatly article interesting.
Yeah.
This is a Veg News article. The headline is that Oatly's emotional support hotline helps vegans get through Thanksgiving. I see Joel is trying to join here, so let's talk for 2 minutes about this one, and then we'll bring him in. So yeah, I mean, Oatly has set up this hotline, and it's the Oatly Emotional Support Hotline for plant-based eaters. Will offer unique resources for vegans looking for support during the challenging holiday. You call in and like different menu items, English or Swedish. I don't know what the joke is there. Maybe they're a Swedish company. I think so. Accompanied by smooth jazz or elevated music, or read by a fifth grader from Kansas who won a Thanksgiving essay contest. You can press 1 to get personal affirmations to help you navigate. Pressing 2 will get you useful stats and talking points to defend your reasons. You can also just press 3 and scream into the void for 30 seconds. You can get a motivational speech, sort of like the Rudy speech. And I guess they're constantly trying to give you, talking points and things you can.
And on Thanksgiving afternoon from 3 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, you can get your plant-based questions answered through last-minute preparations before you sit down for Thanksgiving dinner. So this, I mean, it has to be a mockery of the Butterball hotline, right?
Oh, I didn't know about that. What is the Butterball hotline?
Oh, you don't know about the Butterball?
Oh, it was like a turkey cooking thing.
Yeah. So there on Thanksgiving Day, they have a hotline where if you have any turkey preparation tips, you call in the hotline and they'll tell you how to.
It's a little late, isn't it? To be called. I mean, don't you have to start that like in the morning?
Maybe it's like Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know how it works, but
okay. And is that a new thing, or that's always been around?
Oh no, that's a thing that's been around for a long time.
Okay.
So I imagine this is in response to that. I think it's kind of hilarious. I know you have some mixed emotions about it, but I think like because it's in response to or what I'm assuming is in response to the Butterball hotline, to have this Thanksgiving hotline. I think it's pretty funny. What's interesting though is I didn't realize Oatly was like a vegan evangelist, like advocacy company. And that seems to be what the stance they're taking here is we're a company for vegans and not for people who are just trying to drink a little oat milk.
It does seem that way, and I didn't really realize that either. But they are doing that, and one example, and this is one thing I don't actually like. This comes from their spokesperson, says it's a way for Oatly to take a virtual seat at your holiday dinners, but do it in our very own way, always bringing a dose of lightheartedness. And of course, to serve as a reminder that it's a great time to school your family and friends about all the delicious, climate-friendly, and dietary benefits of plant-based food. Is that a joke? Because to me, like I said, this is the last time I would try to school anybody about this diet. And I think people who do it create the ugly vegan impression that we're going to try to and get in fights at dinner tables about this stuff. So I hope that's a joke. I don't think it is. I'm here to remind you not to do that. This is not a good time to school your family and friends about delicious, climate-friendly, and dietary benefits. People can disagree. I know people think activism. This is a great time to do it. For me, it is absolutely not. I say let people have their Thanksgiving, and if they want to talk about your food and ask you questions, then fine. But I don't try to convince anybody to do this on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we often talk about the holiday dinners and parties and barbecues and stuff. When someone is kind of not coming at you, but challenging your diet, just laugh it off, roll with it, play into the joke, because those dinners are typically not the right time to be trying to convince someone to go vegan as they're looking at a delicious meal and eating some of their favorite comfort foods. It's not really the time to do it. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what they're trying to do here with the hotline. Let's give you talking points to do that, but I think I doubt very many people will come in here. I think it's kind of hilarious. And the whole press 3 to scream into the void idea is really funny to me. So I like it. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I don't know why. To me, it just, when you go too far with the jokes, it just gets stupid. I don't know. And I just started to think, come on, if they just said we're having an emotional support hotline, that would have been a funny joke to me. You call up, we'll give you some tips. If you're having trouble, we've got a live person on the line to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny, it's kind of not, but then all the other options and the motivational talk and the fifth grader reading something and then the press 3, I don't know. I was just I was just over it. I was just not into it. The picture's kind of funny. The Veg News has. It's I don't quite get it, but it's a guy manning a phone by himself with all the other telethon phones empty, and then he replaces himself with a mannequin. It looks like in the second picture. I don't know if this is from a video or something that they had online.
No, yeah, it is funny. But okay, so what I was actually when I read the headline at the very beginning before emotional support, when Oatly support hotline for Thanksgiving, which was the URL. I was hoping that it was like the Butterball one, where it was actually giving you tips, or like, you're having trouble getting that mashed potatoes to look right, or that cream sauce to come out. Like here, we'll give you cooking tips. So that's what I was kind of hoping it would be. But I still think it's funny. I'm a fan.
Yeah, good. All right, well, I'm going to bring Dr. Khan in here. We'll see what he thinks.
All right, let's do it.
And then we'll talk about some food as well. Shoot, I had a question, Doug. One more for you about this, but I forget what it was.
Hey, Dr. Khan.
How's it going? Okay, you're at the office today. You're not at the plant-based cafe. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, your cafe. Sorry, I meant the cafe you were at last time when you called us from. Okay. Okay. I saw that. I didn't know about that, but I see that they had one. Right. Oh geez. Well, I did like the Super Bowl commercial. Apparently, they their song they were singing was "It's Like Milk but Made for Humans," which I thought was a great little way to spread that message without it being ugly and gone into like the baby cow thing and meant to grow 1,000 pounds and whatever. Like this, it's just a very subtle but in your face at the same time. I don't remember that, but sure,
totally,
for sure. So, Dr. Khan, do you what's your take on like Thanksgiving being a time to spread the plant-based message? I mean, you're someone who I think is a little bit more on the outspoken, like happy to try to convince people, whereas I more let them ask me first. Will you do that? Let that go into the Thanksgiving day or dinner table with family? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Right. No, yeah, you're not going to convince anybody, and you're gonna leave everyone feeling badly. I like that one. I'm gonna try that one.
Do you ever do one of the like the roasts or the Tofurkey vegan roasts?
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, we do the same for the past 3 or 4 years. We've had the Thanksgiving roast. It has been field roast. In fact, this year I checked. My wife bought the field roast sage and garlic celebration roast, which is not the one that's wrapped in the flaky crust. And the Beat has an article right now where they actually rate 5 different roasts like this. They do a field of roast sage and garlic, the field roast hazelnut and cranberry. That's the flaky crust one. The Trader Joe's breaded turkey-less stuffed roast, the Tofurkey plant-based roast, and wild rice stuffing, and the Gardein plant-based turkey roast. And they rank them all on health and taste. And the field roast, the one that we actually got, is a 4 on health and 5 out of taste, which is out of 5. So that's a good one. But I'm curious though. So they're calling those a 4 out of 5 on health. They're pretty much just seitan. I think field roast is basically just wheat gluten. You said whole food plant based? That's obviously not whole food plant based because it's wheat gluten and it's just not a whole food. How bad is wheat gluten, do you think, for people who don't have a gluten intolerance? Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And honestly, the sides are, although these roasts are pretty good, the sides are to me the best part of Thanksgiving. They kind of always have been. The turkey was before I was opposed to eating turkey. It was still just like 1 out of 8 good things that there were on the table at Thanksgiving. So I think the sides to me sort of overwhelm the turkey. Quick shout out to Chef Del Shroof, who's here. He's involved in the Forks Over Knives cookbook and China Study cookbook, many of those things. He's conversing with Mr. Jeffrey here about some things. I think about the Thanksgiving topic, how to spread veganism. So just shout out to him. So yeah, really quickly, let me just talk about the other roasts. Doug, is field roast what you guys typically do?
Yep, I think that just because that's the one that I always see it at our grocery store. So
yep. I think Whole Foods has got a store brand one too. That's a little cheaper.
Yeah,
not as good, but
and Trader Joe's has their own version as well.
Yep. And so those the Beat did rank those. Gardein, I think, is the one that did the worst. The Gardein plant-based turkey roast for anyone looking to buy one of these things got only a 2.5 for health and a 3 for taste. So not that great. I guess it has some sort of crispy outer roast, and maybe that's what somehow contributes the the lack of health. I'm not sure. I didn't look that closely. Yeah, I don't see what makes it so bad. It definitely has the highest sodium of all of them, so that's one thing that's not great, and the least fiber of any of them as well. So further and further away from whole food. But the field roast ones both rank pretty well, and then Trader Joe's is in the middle there. So none of those would be a bad choice. And I think the Whole Foods one I heard was not great, but not terrible. I think it was Veg News who ran an article about those. And if you're making them yourself, Veg News has, I think, 6 different recipes they give for these things where you can make them out of lentils and mushrooms and all kinds of good things that are better for you for sure than wheat gluten. So if you've got the time to do it, then do it. That's right. Comes out in what, January, February? Good. Yeah, great point. It's an easy argument to make for meat eaters to say, well, look, you're just eating this processed thing. Like, what's the difference? But yeah, there are a lot of things that are associated, especially with red meat, but with others as well, like TMAO, the class, whatever, the class 1 carcinogen thing that people have talked about with the processed meats at least. So like, yeah, and so yes, there's this process, but we don't have to deal with those kind of things. So I'm with you. So you got to go, Dr. Connor. You want to run down the Veg News Sides article with us? No, they've got a list of Thanksgiving sides. I was going to run down a few of them, but only if you've got time. But you're welcome to jump if you got to go put a tie on. Nice. Okay, good. Well, thanks for joining us. You're always welcome to come back anytime. All right, bye.
So yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
All right, Doug.
Matt, we forgot to let our Facebook and YouTube listeners know that they wouldn't be able to hear anything.
Yeah. Well, I always forget to do that. I'm sure they were letting us know about it, right?
They were. Yep. We got lots of comments
about
it. Yep. Sorry, guys.
Forgot. Meant to do that. We have no solution to have guests like him be on here unless we can, premeditate and get them the link ahead of time. But he's on his treadmill desk. Last time he was at a cafe, so not easy for us to arrange that with impromptu guests. This one we did have a little warning, but I forgot to send him that. So yeah, we don't have a fix for that, but we do intend to let you know ahead of time that you won't be able to hear, and you can pop over to Instagram to hear when we have a guest. So anyway, Doug, any more roast discussion for you before we move on to sides?
I don't think so. No, I really quite like the roast. We used to always do the lentil loaf, like I mentioned yesterday. But recently I've been enjoying them. I like the gravy that kind of comes with it. So I'm sure it's not healthy. I'm sure it's full of It's full of salt, but I mean, it's just good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a nice little treat. And like I was saying, if you're filling up most of your plate with the sides and salads and vegetables, then a little roast here is not gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, I will say that that one of the great benefits of going plant-based that I have talked about a lot of times is like just a general. You just don't feel that feeling that I used to feel nearly every weekend when I'd go out to dinner somewhere, some kind of restaurant, and you just get stuffed with food, and you come home and you're still, when you go to bed 3 hours later, you're still kind of feeling this big pit in your stomach, and you're just full.
Sure.
I stopped feeling that when I started eating a plant-based diet, largely because our food doesn't have the caloric density that would cause that sort of thing to happen. The time I feel that now, and I didn't used to feel it at Thanksgiving, once I started eating these Thanksgiving roasts, I do, because I think I take off the governor and I just start eating as much as I can. It's like I want to eat as much as I can because I don't want this meal to go to waste, that we spent all this time preparing this thing, and it's a celebration, and you just don't want Thanksgiving dinner to end without you being completely full. So the roasts actually allow you to get to that point again. I will say that it goes away.
And that's a good thing? Is that, I mean...
No, it's not a good thing. It's a good example of that this is a different type of food.
Okay.
And the Thanksgiving in general, the mindset of eat a whole lot because it's a celebration. Which may not be the most unnatural thing in the world. Celebrations have probably been part of our culture for a very long time. Feasts, eating what is there. But I'm just saying, it definitely, like, it lets you get to a different place. It goes away still pretty fast. Like within an hour or two after the dinner, I'm kind of back to normal.
Yeah.
But the roast definitely changes the dynamic a bit for me. Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Oh, man. All right, so we want to talk about sides. This article is from Veg News, 36 Fabulous Vegan Thanksgiving Sides, written by a friend of the show.
Oh, I didn't realize
Tanya Flink.
Who just sent you some good Abbott's. I think it was Tanya probably who sent the Abbott stuff to you. She sent it to me. I saw that was a nice little haul.
That's going to be on my side. So she sent some Abbott's chicken and beef. I think it's beef. And
I thought it was a different kind.
But the recipe, it comes in this wonderful little gift box. Recipe was for a stuffing side with the chicken in it, and it looks absolutely delicious. We are 100% going to make it for our Thanksgiving meal, and I am excited to report back on not just my experience with Abbott's for the first time, but also the dish itself.
Very nice. So sides to me are the answer when people say, "What do you do at Thanksgiving?" and before the roasting, and they're what you bring to a table. If you're going to bring something to a thing, don't bring the turkey or the field roast thing. Don't bring this and say eat this instead of turkey. Bring a huge side that is a vegetable, mashed potatoes, and a soup, whatever. You can make these things that taste as good as non-vegan versions or better in many cases. Whereas you're just not going to convince someone with your roast that this is better than turkey. They're just not going to go for it. So bring the side dish, bring a couple side dishes for you and your family, and enough to share for people if you can. We've had the issue before where we bring side dishes that at a non-vegan Thanksgiving we'll bring a side dish, and then other people will eat the side dish because they're there, and it's like, and that's, you bring it to share. But the problem was when everyone eats it, then you don't have a lot left for you. So I've had one or two Thanksgivings where I was like a lot of salad, a lot of bread, and
a little bit of a side,
a little bit of our side, not as much as I would have liked. But here's just a quick rundown. This is Veg News' article. I think you read the headline, right, Doug? 36 Fabulous. So you can Google it. 36 Fabulous Thanksgiving Sides. I think they all link to recipes. Vegan roasted sweet basil squash. I will pass on that as I am against all squashes. Vegan. I'm sorry about the lawnmower outside. I'm hearing some noise here, but vegan pumpkin and parsnip soup. Also going to pass on that one. Not a big fan of parsnips. They're too bitter. Healthy vegan tarragon mustard Brussels sprouts. Totally in on that. 100% in on Brussels sprouts.
Oh yeah.
And especially with tarragon mustard, that just sounds delicious. Maple syrup. I mean, that's great. And Brussels sprouts, cruciferous vegetable. So just don't overcook them, and they're delicious. Crispy herb roast maitake vegan crostini with walnut pesto aioli. I love a good crostini, sort of a bruschetta kind of deal. In this case, it's mushroom and some microgreens, it looks like.
Matt, I cannot think of Thanksgiving and tostini, or what are they called?
Crostini.
Crostinis.
No?
Or anything like that without thinking of you chopping your finger off.
Yes, that's right. I'm glad that you can remember that. I'm a big fan of making crostinis on holidays. It's like the during the day thing. And famously on Christmas Day,
it was Christmas, not Thanksgiving. Okay.
That was Christmas, but I was making crostini, and it was like a I think it was a white bean spread, and it had a
Mhm.
little chiffonade basil and some. The festive part was pomegranate seeds. You know, the little bright red pearly
Yep.
things. They get put on top of this thing, and a really nice, good thing. And I was just chopping away, and no, it was mint. It was mint. It wasn't basil. It was chiffonade mint. And before I believed in good knife skills and the careful grip of the food that would make it really impossible to do what I did. Uh, I think I'd had some champagne going at that point, or sparkling wine, and I just put a huge dent in my thumb, a chunk out of it, and I held it up, and I could see daylight like through the gap
Oh,
in
ugh,
there, and I
cringe.
was
Ugh.
off to the hospital and got all wrapped up, and it was not a nice Christmas day. I also
No.
that day in the morning fell on my back because the kids got a Nerf hoop, and I in socks went up for this dunk, and my foot went out, like my plant foot went out, and I hit the ground on my back hard. Did not go to the hospital for that one, but I was like cursed that Christmas day.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, anytime I see crostinis, I think of you and the hospital. Anyway,
Yes.
let's keep running.
And the crostini, by the way, if you're going to something, it's a good thing to bring. You can bring like a hummus dip or a what's the word? There's like the dip that it's like a spinach and artichoke dip. You
Yep.
can find vegan versions of that. They're not healthy. There's still plenty of fatty stuff in there, but you can bring those and some crostini, and you can eat it all day, and you can be full before even dinner starts if you want. Pumpkin soup, like I said, I'm not that into squash things, but pumpkin soup I can do on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Has white beans as well, and it
That's
looks like
great.
maybe a little mushroom garnish. Flaky vegan mushroom turnovers. That sounds like a lot of effort to me. Too much for Thanksgiving when there's other stuff being made. But I guess if this is your only contribution to a dinner, then you could put the time in. Garlicky vegan mushroom swirls. Warm butter beans with roasted red peppers. That's a side, but it's also
Oh yeah.
pretty filling.
Yeah, that looks delicious.
Number 10, I have a problem with. Best ever vegan mac and cheese. Do you consider mac and cheese a Thanksgiving dish, Doug?
No, I do
No.
not.
I don't either. I don't think it belongs at a Thanksgiving table at all. But I guess,
I bet that there are quite a few people who have it.
yeah, I think there probably are. It seems strange. My family, our strange thing is sauerkraut. I've always had sauerkraut at my Thanksgiving tables. I think it's because of a German sort of heritage. Pennsylvania, we grew up near Pennsylvania, and there was a lot of that influence there. So we grew up always having that, and tonight, we will have some sauerkraut. Does the Hay family have any unique foods, Doug?
We have something called cranberry ice, which is
Interesting.
it's a cranberry ice cream type thing,
Okay.
homemade, of course, and it is super sweet, or it's more like a what do you call the ice version of ice cream? That's like vegan. You can get it.
Yeah.
It's
not gelato. It's
not gelato. It's
granita. Is that what you call
no.
it? Well, granita is a frozen fruit ice cream, I think.
Sorbet. It's kind of like more like
Okay.
a sorbet than an ice cream. But it is so good, and it's like the perfect in between dish palate cleanser type thing, and then have it a little bit at the end. But you eat it with your dinner and not as a dessert. And man,
Wow.
I could eat that stuff all day.
Is that something you grew up with, or you make that nowadays?
Oh yeah. No,
Really?
it's something that I think like we're fourth generation or something that has been
Wow. Okay.
having this every
long
holiday.
line of cranberry sorbet makers.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's probably no recipe in existence, right? It's just passed down from grandmother to grandmother.
Yeah, it's the recipe is handwritten on a card that.
Wait, can you take a picture of that card and post it on Instagram, or is that sacrilege? That Hay family violation?
I could maybe do that. Yeah, I don't know. I have to get permission. I definitely need to talk to the patriarch. But
Yeah, no, I wouldn't blame you if that had to be closely guarded and can't do that.
No, but
Mr. Jeffrey asked, by the way, if we can post this list on the Instagram account. So we can try to do that. I don't know how to do that, but we can at least put a screenshot of the thing, because you can't click links on Instagram unless there's a link in bio thing. Bianca says she always has coleslaw, which is not traditional. Bianca's from Memphis, don't forget, which is a barbecue land. So maybe that's how coleslaw made its way into Thanksgiving dinner. I had some other Bianca news that I forgot what it was, but maybe I'll get to it on Monday. Something about conversations on Instagram.
Oh, I have some Bianca news. She had some delicious nachos last night.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
that. I'm a little bit offended I wasn't invited to, but they looked incredibly good. And she hashtagged it.
Oh, that was my news. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, say it again. Sorry. Tell me what she said.
She hashtagged it Corn Chip Nation.
Yeah, the first use of the hashtag.
Which first use of the hashtag, and I appreciate that there's somebody else out there with the Corn Chip Nation mindset here. So we can be the PGBJs if we want to, but there'll be an elite group of the elite group that's the Corn Chip Nation.
Right. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole rest of the list. There's a whole lot more, and actually, all of it: shaved Brussels sprouts with creamy mustard sauce. Here, I'll call it my favorites. No. Leek soup. I'd go for leek soup.
There's some hummus. Good salads.
I don't know about hummus. Vegan holiday stuffing flavored hummus. I know I mentioned a hummus dip. I don't know about flavoring hummus with Thanksgiving flavors. That seems weird. Crispy Brussels sprouts. I guess I'm really into Brussels sprouts. I didn't realize that.
Asparagus looks really good.
Yeah, these are good things. We can use more of these just green vegetables at Thanksgiving because there's a lot of brown at the table, and these green things will be the healthiest thing on the table.
Yep.
Bianca's excited that we have Bianca news. Maybe there should be a segment that's a Bianca segment each day. All right, you want to know what I'm having for my Thanksgiving dinner, Doug?
What do you have?
There's a bunch of stuff we didn't get to. Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson, I guess he renamed himself on Instagram. I thought he legally renamed himself. He didn't. It's like
when I read that, I thought it was a legal thing too.
Yeah, he just changed his social media. Rainfall, heat wave, extreme winter Wilson. And anyway, he's putting on Farm Sanctuary that he wants you to adopt a turkey, or putting on Instagram that he wants you to adopt a Farm Sanctuary turkey. He says he connected with pigs a while ago, which I liked because that's how I went vegetarian. I thought I love my dog, and I thought pigs are just like my dog. How can I be eating bacon? And that was the start for me. So I appreciated that one, but we're not going to spend much time there. And then the prices. The prices are much higher this year, 20% higher the average Thanksgiving meal. It said the average meal that I saw on this is an Axios.com article. The average Thanksgiving dinner for 10 people, they thought was $62 or something. And I thought, I don't know where these people are getting food for that price. That just seems bizarre. Because if we go to Whole Foods to buy our little Thanksgiving stuff, which I'll tell you in a minute what it is, just for our family, 4 of us, I didn't ask the price because I was afraid to ask the price of that trip. I bet it was $150 for the food, and we're not buying luxury foods. This is the foods that we're talking about here. So I just can't believe that you can feed 10 people a Thanksgiving dinner with a lot of stuff. They mentioned all the things and they said the prices of stuff, and I guess I agreed with it. I think I'm just using it shopping at stores that maybe we could save a lot of money by going to cheaper stores.
Yeah, I mean, your average person is not going to Whole Foods to get their Thanksgiving.
No, surely not. But Whole Foods isn't that expensive nowadays. I know that they have some expensive items, but I don't feel like they're like exorbitant prices.
Well, I mean, but even then, I mean, like you were saying, I mean, you'd have to be eating the like really budget stuff to be able to feed 10, or their calculations are looking at servings that aren't actually real servings.
That's also very possible. All right, so I'll just break down quickly. Their 16-pound turkey, they said $29. A 14-ounce bag of cube stuffing mix, $3.88. 2 frozen pie crusts, $3.68. Half pint of whipping cream, $2.24. Frozen peas, $1.90. Dinner rolls, $3.73. So see, they don't really have much in the way of size there.
I mean, frozen peas and dinner rolls that are probably frozen or from a can. I mean,
right. So this is cheap as possible. You could do it for 10 people, perhaps, and still have a handful of traditional foods. So I don't know. Thanksgiving for us is always costs more than that. But fortunate to be able to spend a little more. So not obviously shaming or anything like that. All right. So what I'm having tonight, here's what we do. We did this once before. My mom says, try all these. Doug, you have anything to say about that?
I chose to ignore that comment. And
all right. For those who don't know, Doug and my mom had a little spat about all these. Doug said it was bad. My mom sent all these pictures proving that it wasn't bad. And it just happened on the Plant-Based Morning Show Instagram account. Anyway, so we've got the field roast, the new, I don't know what's new, the celebration roast, sage and garlic flavor. We got some Brussels sprouts. We have some green beans with almond slivers, I think we're doing. Made a mushroom gravy, which I tasted just before this. It was delicious. And mashed potatoes, some kind of pumpkin pie. And I think that's about it. There may be one more thing that I'm forgetting, but pretty much just like, sticking to the basic stuff. No big appetizer. I don't even think we have a big salad planned. I don't think we have rolls, but pretty basic thing. Yeah. But I like it because, and like, usually we try to put a lot of effort in when we have hosted Thanksgiving. It's a whole 2 days ahead of time of cooking all the stuff and getting everything, doing all the steps that you can do ahead of time. But with this, it's, I mean, Aaron spent a lot of time yesterday working on stuff, but when we did this last time, it was just like, I don't know, 3 hours before the dinner, we started putting the roast in and getting some stuff together. And it was just very simple. And I actually really like that, because then, as much as the cooking is fun, I don't like when it turns into a big chore and it's like this huge thing. It's fun when you can just hang out, have some good food, have some drinks. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. Have a little a wine, a Sicilian wine to drink. Nothing fancy, just cheap $7.99 thing. What about you, Doug? What's your Thanksgiving drink? I know Dr. Khan mentioned non-alcoholic beer. I have a feeling you're not going to do that on your Thanksgiving table.
Your wife is calling you out. You do have homemade rolls and sauerkraut.
No, I forgot sauerkraut. How can I forget that? I didn't know we had homemade rolls. That's awesome. I look forward to those.
I'm definitely a wine at the table guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I will probably be sipping. Recently, I've been just this cold weather. I've been leaning towards porters and stouts, and so I'll probably be sipping on something like that throughout the day, and then have some wine at dinner. Maybe
so not a pumpkin beer.
Probably no. I'm just not going to do it.
Cliched, right? We're over that.
We're not going to do it. I'm over it. Done. Yeah. Done with the pumpkin beers.
I'm with you.
But I may try to pick up some of the Baileys, the vegan Baileys.
Oh yeah, right. I did see Trader Joe's has a vegan eggnog on the list, but I guess that wouldn't be a Thanksgiving move. It'd be more of a Christmas move. What will you put the vegan Baileys in on Thanksgiving?
Straight.
Oh, you just put it like over ice or something, or you just
over ice? Yeah, you just will sip it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. After dinner or during?
Oh, after.
Or ahead of time.
No, it'd be like a little nightcap.
Okay. I see. Good. Okay. Good. Well, then I guess that does it, Doug. That does our...
Yeah, well, have a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner tonight.
Thank you. I will, for sure. Everyone else enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll be back before then. I should give a warning, though. I travel on Saturday into Sunday. I don't know yet with the internet situation. I mean, in theory, it should be fine. But the times are going to be different for this show, because I will be totally unavailable at the exact time the show goes on nearly every day that we're there. So it'll either be, could Sundays be later, some earlier, don't know. But it will be different times. If we can set any kind of schedule, we'll post that in the Instagram channel. So follow Plant-Based Morning Show if you're not already doing that, the account, I mean. But anyway, so don't expect it at 11 a.m. Eastern, but we will still get these things out nearly every day. May have a fill-in host here or there.
We're gonna take a couple of days off at Thanksgiving.
Yes, for sure, like everybody else should.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that is it. Again, if you're new, check out our podcast. It's just these recordings of these episodes, and it's on any place you listen to podcasts. We got the Instagram account, and that is it. I apologize for the lawnmower noise today. I hope it wasn't too disruptive to people.
That's all right. It sounds like a leaf blower, though.
It may be that. By the way, I heard leaf blowers are terrible for the environment. Did you know that?
I know that you're supposed to leave your leaves. The blowers are terrible.
The amount, to run a gas-powered leaf blower for an hour was the equivalent in something, I don't know if it was CO2 emissions or whatever, the equivalent of driving a car 3,000 miles across the entire country. 1 hour of blowing a leaf blower. I think Seth Godin posted this in it.
That's wild.
It's very much wild. Yeah, ours I think is electric now. Plug it in. But apparently they're awful.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Or not fun.
All right.
Fact, I guess. All right. All right.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right.
And enjoy your tofurkey, Matt.
Thank you. I will.
And sauerkraut. All right. We'll see you.